and peace from God our Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ. I was glad when they said to me, let us go into the house of the Lord. And I'm Father Steve Sellers, and thank you so much for tuning in today for this brief daily message of hope. And I pray that your day is off to a good start. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I've spent the last 2 days binging on the TV series Cobra Kai. Now, that's if you haven't run into Cobra Kai yet. I didn't until just recently, but I was a sort of a student and an expert on the 1980s movie Karate Kid. I had probably seen the Karate Kid movie 7 or 8 million times, and I've always been a big fan of Pat Morita, who played Mr. Miyagi, and also with Daniel LaRusso, played by Ralph Macchio. Thought it was a pretty good movie and very interesting. And I actually encountered it when I was just out of seminary, I think, when it came out. And one of my classmates was a black belt in karate, and we watched it, and he critiqued it and pointed out that Pat Morita was really a dancer and not a grandmaster in karate. But nevertheless, the movie was good. But I want to talk about Cobra Kai and the Gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ today. In the movie Cobra Kai, we pick up most of the same characters that were in the 1980s movie, many of them who show up 30 years later. And Daniel-san, Ralph Macchio, is a successful businessman, and his rival, John Lawrence from Cobra Kai, was down and out. And the first 2 years of the series that I just binged on, have a very important message about not only violence and the point of fighting, and that's beyond the scope of what I want to talk about. One of the big messages is giving someone a second chance, or maybe a third chance, or a fourth chance. And I want to talk a little bit about that because we have difficulty doing that. We live right now, 30 years after the Karate Kid movie came out, it's even more pronounced how we don't want to give anyone a second chance. You mess up once and it's forever there, and or someone hurts you and the grudge is now within you, and you're going to carry that grudge forever. Far too many people are walking around right now, and we see them, even as they're coming out of their quarantines, carrying all sorts of baggage from the past. People can't let go of insults or injuries from the past, and they don't want to make amends for the injuries and insults they have caused in the past. So there's all this unresolved psychological, emotional baggage that people are carrying with them. And the gospel speaks to that. And I was touched by how in Cobra Kai, of course it's got fighting all the way through it, and we know that it's actors. It's some pretty good athletes are involved in it, and I enjoyed that part of the athletic show that they put on. But there were two rival gyms, two rival dojos. The Cobra Kai's, which were the perennial bad guys, and Mr. Miyagi's dojo, Miyagi Dojo, which was the good guys. And one of them, Mr. Miyagi, who by the time this series begins, had been dead for 4 or 5 years. And I think Pat Morita died about that long ago, maybe a little bit longer. So he was not in the movie, but there were plenty of flashbacks to the original movie, and most of the emphasis was on the first year, not the 2 remakes or the 3 remakes, or however many there have been. And I think there've been another one they just keep making. But this is the original sort of ongoing script. And the characters have flipped, and during this 2-year series, they flip back and forth. John Lawrence, who plays, John Lawrence is the bad Cobra Kai person, and Daniel LaRusso is the good businessman in the community. During this 2 years, they flip back and forth, and they have a great impact on each other that they don't realize. And goodness impacts others. Kindness is contagious. Compassion lifts up and exalts people. And the one who is engaged in being compassionate has a bigger influence on the world than they will ever know. And so think today about the grudges that you're carrying right now, the baggage. Are you still angry at someone? Most people don't realize that that's why alcoholics cannot recover. They can't let go of the past. They can't let go of unresolved issues in the past rather than just letting it go. And that's one of the things that goes through this 2 years of Cobra Kai that I was watching. Things keep bubbling back that were left unresolved 30 years before. I've ministered to people who have carried grudges for 30 and 40 years, and it's almost killed them. And it has destroyed relationships and marriages and families and jobs. People who cannot let go of why they're so angry at everyone. Well, part of that is unforgiveness. They cannot forgive someone of something, or they've done something so horrible they can't reconcile it in their mind. And so people wear masks, and the rage erupts on the roadways and on the sidewalks. And we see rage breaking out all over in the middle of the night in the larger cities in the countries where there's looting and bombing and extended violence in this civil war that's taking place in our country right now. And so rather than discuss the fighting aspect of Cobra Kai, I see a connection with the fact that Jesus, of course, he says, when someone strikes you on the right cheek, give them the left cheek. Now, most people are right-handed, and for someone to strike you on the right cheek, a right-hander with the person facing them would be striking them on the left cheek. To strike someone on the right cheek, it's backhanded, which is a sign of incredible insult as well as domination and power. It says it's one used to treat servants that way. And so Jesus also calls us to go the extra mile, to forgive someone, and to be compassionate always, to turn and become like children. Little children on the playgrounds may be hurt for a moment and insulted for a moment by one of their little friends, but 3 minutes later they're back playing together again. So who teaches children how to carry grudges and to be filled with rage all the time? We do. The parents and grandparents, rather than being examples of compassion, they see in us much more than what we say to them. We're living examples. Well, Jesus has called us to be living examples of his compassion. So many people on social media now are so mean and corrupt and so nasty and angry and belligerent and argumentative. You know where that comes from? It doesn't come from the Lord. It's unresolved rage within their spirit. And only Jesus can take care of that. We need to forgive, even as the Lord has forgiven us. We need to be quick to make amends when we've hurt someone. We need to apologize rather than let it linger. We're living in a day now where lingering anger is now taking over our country from the top levels of government right down onto the streets. And we need peace. And the peace that passes all understanding comes from the Lord Jesus. So the good news today is that you've got a God who's given you a second chance right now. A second start. Turn to him, ask for his help, and let him guide you into the ways of justice and peace. They go together. God bless you, and I'll see you right here again tomorrow.